guys, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you a full day of eating and a grocery haul. I'm a very busy person, and if you guys don't know, I recently got married, I run my own business, and I'm an NPC Bikini competitor. So I usually do online grocery shopping from Amazon Fresh, and if there's anything that I need, like egg whites or any rice cakes for my husband that's a specific flavor, then I go to the store. But it's been super convenient for me, and I wanted to show you a little bit of the things that I get throughout the week, as well as what I eat in a day. So come join me. We got special delivery from Amazon. They bring the packages super early, so it's convenient. I basically go shopping at 5 a.m. is what I say. So they package everything, and it's always in like the freeze packs, and everything just stays nice and fresh. So I'm gonna get all the other things, and then I'll unpack it and show you a little bit of the stuff that I got. Okay, so we got a few things, like my sweet potatoes I eat every day. The thing that I get the most of is jasmine rice. And for my husband, we got a few rice cakes. I can't wait to hopefully enjoy these when we start peaking. But as of right now, I cannot, but they are there. And what else? Ooh, a lot of veggies. So we got some broccoli, eggplants, mushroom. I also always grab some chicken. It's like a full pack. They're usually pretty nice and good on the barbecue. And then I grab some frozen tilapia. And yeah, we got a few goodies. It's time for meal number one, and I am starving. So in my meal plan, I have eggs, egg whites, oats with chia seeds, and spinach. Sounds pretty basic, but I don't want to keep it like that. That sounds kind of boring for a 12-week prep. And I've been on the same breakfast spiel for about a month, and I still haven't gotten bored. But it's really interesting and a little bit creative the way that I've been making my breakfast lately. So far, I've been measuring my egg whites like normal. I'm going to add 1 egg, so we have a little bit of fats and some nutrients. Wash our hands because we don't want the germs. Now, I am going to have a cup of spinach, so we're going to prepare that already. Don't try to push too much in. Have an actual cup. You don't want to lie to yourself with the calories. So from there, we can add some Himalayan pink salt. This is what I mainly use for cooking. Later, I'm going to use the Celtic sea salt to top off my dish. And we're going to add some black pepper. Great. So now that we have that stuff, we can work on our oats because it's going to take a little bit longer. I'm not going to make the oats in the microwave. I feel that making them in the stovetop is much better because it feels like they mesh or mend well. In the microwave, for some reason, I feel like they separate. Comment down below if you witness the same thing as I. But we're going to measure out backwards because a Dutch oven is pretty heavy, even though it's tiny. We're going to measure out the oats. So it's going to be in the negatives. Just keep that in mind. It's not going to be like normal. Okay, we're almost there. Perfect. So once we have that, we can move this to the side. Get our chia seeds. Chia seeds have omega-3, very good for the heart. It has some fiber, so it's going to keep me fuller longer. We're going to add some cinnamon. And then here is where comes the plot twist. So I love me some cayenne pepper. Cayenne pepper gives it another flavor. The cinnamon and the cayenne pepper work really well together. This dish is actually going to be savory. So instead of having traditional oats, I'm going to add some salt as well. It's going to be more like, in a sense, like a polenta or a barley. And then I add the eggs right on top. So we're going to go and cook the oatmeal on medium heat, let that boil and mix through. We're going to be stirring throughout. And now we're also going to be starting the eggs. We're going to be using some coconut oil spray. Spray lightly because even though it's a spray, the calories do add up if you spray way too much. And then from there we can put this away. And now we're gonna stir up our little egg and egg yolk. Switch right here. So all of that is prepared for breakfast. Let this stir through. And it's a nice warming color, the food. With the cayenne pepper, it looks a little bit more red, like if it has paprika. And when it starts heating up and the chia seeds start absorbing all the liquid, it has that flavor as well. And then later I top off my food with some garlic powder, a little bit more cayenne pepper because yes, I love it that much, and the Celtic sea salt. I stir it through. You'll see, doesn't look the most appetizing, but it's something that I enjoy daily, and I look forward to it every single day while I'm on prep because I know prep can get tough. I've tried out the egg white and plain oats and boiled chicken for a bit, and it was not for me. It was not sustainable. It was not what I'm doing right now, and this has made a huge difference in my physique and in how I am having a relationship with food. So let's continue with making breakfast. The eggs, I try to keep it basic, a normal scramble, so it should be warm enough to add the actual egg mix, but I don't want it to start like heating up too much because if not, then it starts getting dry. I also add the spinach directly, and then I top it off with a little bit more salt and pepper so that the spinach also gets flavor. It also makes the spinach wilt down a little bit quicker while the eggs are mixing up. So you want to be mixing this all throughout because as you see, the egg whites cook pretty quick. So it's already starting to get a little bit more opaque rather than clear. So you have to push down the spinach so that it also gets that heat and cooks through. So since both of these things are savory and they're both going to the same place, I do share the spatula so that I don't have to use so much equipment. Now, if I were doing something sweet and salty, that's a different case. But right now we're just making this mix. And look at how quick it pretty much is. I can raise the temperature a little bit more in the oats to make that a little bit quicker as well. The oats are just sitting there, but they're getting a little bit more plump compared to before. And it does take a little bit longer for me to make breakfast compared to my protein shake prior to, but we are incorporating more whole foods. Closer to the show, I am going to have to eliminate my protein shake and my aminos because those are like the only artificial sweeteners that I am using. the reason why I don't use artificial sweeteners in my breakfast like a traditional one is because I already know myself. And even with artificial sweeteners, it triggers me to want something sweet longer. So that's why I make something savory to start my palate off right, because the next meal is also savory. The only sweet things I have are my aminos, and I got a new flavor. It's actually pretty refreshing, so I'll show you guys. And the protein shake as well as the chamomile tea that I have at night. So I strategically place them throughout that time of the day so that I don't crave sweetness in the times that I get triggered. I also take magnesium at night, which I know is the time that I usually crave something sweet as well. So when I drink the chamomile tea, I have that to make me relax, have everything right, and go to bed. So the egg whites and egg sitch are already made. I let that cool off a tiny bit because I don't want to keep cooking through and get hard. But the oatmeal has to stay a little bit longer. It's already getting more plump. It's almost ready to boil. You want it to boil for about 2 minutes, get a little bit thicker. And then when we plate it and top it off, I let it cool down for about 3 minutes. So it gets really thick, more like that polenta type of texture. And yeah, so I'm gonna finish cooking the oats. I'm gonna plate it up, and then I'm gonna show you exactly how I eat this breakfast, okay? So we have our meal. Look at that. Looks pretty interesting, no? Now, what I like doing, we have the Celtic salt topped off with the cayenne pepper and the garlic powder. We have our spinach, our egg. Looks like a nice little mix. Look at how thick the oatmeal is. So I start scrambling up the egg and then mixing it through. Now, I enjoy this so much. It sounds a little bit odd because of how it ends up looking, but it is nice, savory, warm, and it's so filling. I usually have clients directly after this, and I don't feel like any drop in sugar. I feel great. I have great energy, and we're almost 5 weeks out, so that's pretty awesome. So I'm gonna enjoy this, and then we're gonna meal prep a little bit because I'm running out of some vegetables, some tilapia, and then I have a client, and afterwards we're gonna go work out a little bit, so you're gonna see what I eat throughout the day then. So we are preparing our meals for today. I am running a little bit low on sweet potato because both my husband and I have that every night. And I'm making some eggplant and tilapia as well because that's part of my pre-workout meal. So it's always good to be prepared than to have to wait or try to change up the routine. And on prep, you cannot be changing anything. It has to be to a T. So all of my potatoes have been peeled. I've been making them in the oven instead of steaming them because the way that they bake, you can have more of the sweet potato because they dry out. Rather than steaming, the liquid keeps more weight, so you have less food. So that is something else that I've been doing for prep and off prep. I noticed that quite a bit ago, and the flavor is always amazing. It works with chicken, steak, pork, fish, whatever kind of protein, and a lot of vegetables. So sweet potato is always in my pantry. So once we have everything chopped, we are going to chop up this eggplant as well. And then we're going to put it in a different pan. And oh my gosh, I love roasted eggplant. especially with the tilapia. That's what we're going to be having with the jasmine rice. Later, I just top everything off with some lemon juice. It's so fresh. It's so flavorful. Can you imagine nasty tilapia being flavorful? Terrible. Terrible that people don't flavor things. Obviously, like closer to the show, I have no idea what to expect, but we've been leaning down perfectly so far. Right now, this morning, which I am so proud of, we got to 8.8% body fat, which I have never been 8% body fat. So that is super exciting. My diet has not changed, and I can't complain. So let me choppy chop, and then we'll be back with the eggplant so we can season everything, toss it in the oven, and go back to work. Everything is chopped, so we're gonna come over here while the oven is almost done preheating so we can season everything. I just use salt and pepper at this point. So let's start off with everything with salt. You can use a bit. And for this one, we'll just sprinkle a little bit as well. Now we can go in with the pepper. I like a lot of spice, so my tilapia tends to be more on the peppery side. Then same concept here. We're gonna be tossing it with our hands, getting our hands dirty. So don't worry about the pepper not being even for the sweet potato. But for the eggplant, try to be a little bit more strategic. It's still gonna be tossed through, but they do tend to stick a little bit more to the eggplant because eggplant has a little bit more moisture. So we're gonna start with the eggplant itself. I mean the sweet potato itself. Oops. So that tossed through, it has a little bit more of an even coat. And then we can go into the eggplant, which is the more moist one. Some of the eggplants did not break up completely. So we separate them while we're here. And that was it. Okay, perfect. Now they are all even. The oven is still heating up. The tilapia stays the same. We wash our hands and we are going to set it in for about 40 minutes. Turn it off. If anything needs to get a little bit more crispy like the eggplants, the heat will do its thing and it will stay warm for the time that I have my pre-workout meal. So we're gonna put it in the oven. And we're gonna put this in here. And the sweet potato down there. And voila. The kitchen smells absolutely amazing. Look at that. The eggplants are nice and steamy. The tilapia is fully cooked. And then the sweet potato down here are nicely roasted. But I turned off the oven and I'm gonna eat that part a little bit later. The one that I do want to remain out though is the tilapia because I don't want that to get super dry. Because later you're gonna see how I have my pre-workout meal and it turns out so moist and perfect. So that's just gonna cool off. The rest is gonna heat up a little bit more and get a little bit more brown. Just perfect. So I'll catch you in the next meal. So we're gonna have my pre-workout meal, which was the tilapia with the eggplant and some jasmine rice. I am so happy to have this. because it's always very fresh. Because we're gonna add some lemon. I forgot about the lemon. But that's at the end. I always have sliced lemon in my fridge as well as lemon water. So first we're gonna get the rice. It's not too much rice right now compared to a meal that I'm gonna have later. But it is more than what I was actually eating than for the wedding. So I've actually increased in calories than for my wedding because I'm utilizing my muscles more. Before I was trying not to even work on my back at all because I gained a little bit too much muscle there too quick. So now we get to eat more. I'm doing less cardio as well. So I'm a happy Christina. I can take a challenge, right? So we're gonna have my eggplant. We're almost there. Get off. Perfect. You see why I needed to come join the party. And then we're gonna finish this with the tilapia. Let me put it back to 0. We need a little bit more. Oh my gosh, we're off by like 3 grams. No, it's gonna be like too much, watch. We're off by like 1, that's okay. So now that we have everything like this, we just microwave it. Put everything away. And I am going to top it off with some lemon juice, some Celtic salt, more black pepper and garlic powder. Stir it all in. Eat it. It tastes super fresh, like kind of like lemon pepper in a sense, but without the whole entire seasoning. I don't know how much salt they put in it. I know how much salt I put in my food, but it's super delicious. We get to work out after, and when we come back, I'm gonna work a bit. I'm gonna eat around 5 because I have my protein shake directly after, and I like to hold off a little bit so then I can have my last meal around 8 at night, so I'm not starving too early. So I'm gonna show you guys once it's done microwaving and I'll prepare it. Okie dokie. So here it is, the final product. It has the rice with the tilapia. Look at how nice, moist, but still a little bit crispy, and that roasted eggplant. So now I just mash the tilapia and stir it all in, kind of like a rice bowl. And then the eggplant gets coated with that lemon flavor. And the rice is just always perfect with chicken, steak, anything. I love jasmine rice, and I'm so glad that I get to keep it in my entire prep so far. So here we go. Yes, so fresh. Love it. Heading to the gym, and this is how much I love spicy things. Look at my cute little shaker bottle. I got a new one, and I'm having some aminos. It's flavored like sweet tea, so it's super refreshing, super hydrating. It's my EAAs, and now I'm gonna go do cardio, the sauna, have my post-workout shake, and then later in the day, like how I said, we're gonna have my next meal, which I'm super excited about. I love the chicken with the rice and all the other goodies that are gonna be included. So now it's time to burn some calories from today and keep going. So it's about 5 p.m. and I am getting really hungry. Now I'm gonna have my bigger meal of the day. It's going to be some chicken that we freshly grilled with some rice and some avocado. But we're gonna add some lime and some cayenne pepper, salt, garlic powder. Make it somewhat like a Mexican style dish. I love having that every single day. So we're gonna have some rice, which I love as well. It's quite a bit of rice compared to the other meals. We're almost there. Perfect. And then we're gonna just cut up some grilled chicken, which I love the mix that I'm having in the seasoning. It's so flavorful. All right, so we're gonna chop up a little bit right here. With the scissors, it makes it so much faster than with a knife. And perfect. So that is the amount of chicken I need. Now, since that was cold, I am going to heat it up in the microwave. And in the meantime, we're gonna put this back, as well as measure out the avocado, kind of. Well, begin cutting it and all of that. So that's something else I've included into my diet, which before I used to have the coconut oil, but I am not complaining. I love avocado, and it's a pretty good amount. It's more than half typically, but we shall weigh it out and see. So perfect. And let's get our lime juice. I always have my citrus prepared also with like doing radio frequency and things like that on my face. I always have that, so I have the vitamin C to go with it. And vitamin C every single day is really good as well for your immune system. And I have not gotten sick throughout this entire prep, so I am thankful for that. And I think it's with all the nutrients, the vitamin C, the vitamins in general that I'm taking, all of that has been helping me feel my best, and I don't feel run down at all. I feel very energized. So it's starting to sizzle. We can take it out of the microwave, and now we're gonna go back, turn on the scale, and get our avocado. This time it was, I'm hoping half. Get all the little bits out. Yes, perfect. So this time it was exactly half an avocado. Usually it's a little bit more, as I said. And then now we're just gonna get a little bit of that lime juice. Very juicy. And our fingers. And what I like adding is the Celtic salt again, with some garlic powder. It looks like a lot, but when you mix it, You'll see it's not that much and it tastes really good. Some cayenne pepper because I love my spice. And I also add some black pepper for the rice. I feel that it tastes really good together. So the last step would be to mash it up, kind of like a rice bowl. The rice gets a little bit clumpy, so you have to loosen it up. And then the avocado is perfectly mashable because sometimes they are a little bit underripened. So like that, you just stir it through. It's not the prettiest dish. None of them are, because once you start mixing everything together, it just gets mixed. But it tastes amazing and it smells super good. I love this dish. It has the perfect warmth too, because we heated it up, but the avocado I never heat up. It gets like a weird texture in the microwave. It kind of turns in a bit like plastic. So I made that mistake once. Never again. Oh my gosh, my throat. So put everything away. And now the last thing that I do specifically for this meal too is that since everything is kind of like mixed together and I want to savor this as long as possible, I use a mini spoon to eat it, and it just takes me longer and it makes it worth the time until we can eat dinner, which would be my last meal, and have our tea. So, yeah. Yes. It's time for our last meal. We finally made it after a long day of activities, and now we are finally here. So, we're going to have first 5 spears of asparagus, which I roast them all in the air fryer with some salt, some paprika, and just leave that for a few minutes, and they got very nice and like a good texture, and when you heat it up in the microwave, they kind of soften up, and it just tastes great with the paprika. So after that, we will get our sweet potato and chicken. The lovely sweet potato we made earlier today, and the chicken. So here we have it. Oh my gosh. I took off the suction and it's more difficult to open this. Okay, well, that occurred. So here we have it. Look at how beautiful they look. And we need to get a new container. Whatever, that's okay. So from there, we're gonna put it back to 0. Make sure everything is as exact as possible. It's a bit of sweet potato, which before I did not have as much either. So I get to enjoy one of my favorite things in the world. I was even trying to grow sweet potato once upon a time, but it's a little bit too long of a process, and I eat so many of them. So we took about half of that. Later I'll change the container, and then we just have to chop the chicken. So here we go. Super quick with the scissors, right? We're almost there. Perfect. And then we just heat it up for a minute and a half. Top it off with some salt, garlic powder, and some black pepper. And that's what she wrote. So now I'm just going to enjoy that, have my tea, and it's been a day full of eating. You got to see a little bit of what I do for groceries for time and convenience. So I am so glad that you got to join me today, and I'll catch you next week. Have a great evening. Bye bye.